Hey folks, Dune Wizard here. Today I want to talk about session zeros, particularly how I handle them, and then I want to hear how you handle them. Full disclosure, I didn't even know they were a thing. We did them, but we didn't know they had a name until about 4 years ago when I saw it in probably a Questing Beast video. We probably started back in the 90s with the second edition. We'd all get together. I'd have the players make their characters. Then I would take their characters with me, and I always had like an idea what I wanted to do for an adventure, but I didn't flesh it out entirely because I wanted the characters to fit the encounters. I've played plenty of games where we we were told to make characters, we make characters, and then we get plopped into a adventure that some of us would have no earthly business even being in them. So that's why I like to take the characters and have a basic idea of an adventure and then use those characters to flesh out the adventure. And it also helps like planting magic items or enchanted weapons or what have you, because for me, what good is King Arthur without Excalibur? So while I don't set things up specifically for characters, I will put things in there that the characters might need later on in the adventure. The first time I used Session Zero that I'm aware of, or that I like to call an actual Session Zero, was we had a ongoing Sunday night campaign with a revolving door of DMs, and it came down to it was going to be my turn, and I didn't have time to put the entire adventure together. So I just kind of put a few things down on paper. The group got together. They made two characters apiece, which was lucky for them. After the players made their characters, there was a knock at the door to their keep where they were all staying. And this, old lady comes in and she has this scroll and she passes out, and the player, one of the characters opened up the scroll as they were all gathered around. Well, the scroll was loaded with explosive runes. The runes went off, and end of session. About half the characters survived. So I then took those characters and used the surviving characters to flesh out what the game was going to be about. By the way, that session has since gone down in history and infamy. You meet any of my old players, that's the one they'll tell you about. Recently, I started a father and sons campaign where we've been reworking the rules for D&DP so I can make it legit enough to sell. And so we've been fleshing out the rules a little bit, changing things. So when it came to session zero, my players made their characters. I had about 25% of the game done, so I thought, what the heck, I'm going to run them on it because we had plenty of time. I had planned it to be a 2 or 3 night game, but these guys fast tracked it because they're all experienced players, and it was over in one session. Was I upset that my grandiose, basic idea was thwarted? No, because on the spot, I came up with a campaign based on the events that happened in this game. So in this adventure, the players get hired by this. I wanted this huge town, like a Lankmar kind of thing, just a gigantic city campaign with all kinds of different places they can go and do subterranean stuff, you name it. I can't say too much because they watch my videos. However, so the vizier of the city hires the players to retrieve his daughter from this cult who worship this ancient frog god. Now, if that sounds familiar, again, I only had 25% of the game left, so I just plucked some stuff out of the Conan the Barbarian movie from the 80s. The reason the vizier hired these people from out of town was because he's worried that his entire city is laced with these cultists. So he can't trust anybody. Well, they find the old ruins, sneak around, rescued his daughter, slaughtered a bunch of cultists, Met back up with the Vizier, and he was so thrilled that he decided he was going to hire them to continue to seek out these cultists within the town. Now, none of that was supposed to be in the initial game. That was just a little rescue mission. But now I've got all these notes and all these ideas for what to do in this city. But rather than create everything myself, I decided to borrow my idea from Strangeville, where the town is full of rumors. And in Strangeville, you let your players come up with all these rumors. And then you can pluck which one of those rumors you like. They don't know if these rumors are true or not until they encounter them. You can even add your own in there to thicken the stew a little bit. And I think that's the real strength of a session zero is letting your players put input into what they want to do. Long story short, GMs, like Bruce Lee said, be like water. As I said earlier, I want to hear your ideas for your session zero, how you run it. So let me know in the comments. I read them all. I try to respond to as many of them as I can. Well, that about does it for this episode. So as always, thanks for watching.